Plugged In dives deep into the ever-evolving world of technology with a special emphasis on how it intersects with our daily lives, businesses, and the broader society. Guided by Mark Sefton, a globally renowned personal mentor to entrepreneurs and a passionate technophile, this podcast unravels the complexities of the tech world, offering listeners insights that are both profound and practical. With Mark's rich experience, having interviewed some of the most influential individuals across various platforms, expect to embark on a journey of discovery, innovation, and digital mastery. Welcome to Plugged In.
Welcome back to the Plugged In podcast. Today we are diving deep into the future of health tracking, longevity, and the invisible biological markers that indicate how we age. Joining us is John Mulder. He's the CEO of Diagnoptics Technologies. John brings decades of leadership across healthcare, marketing, and innovation, and he is deeply passionate about preventive health and entrepreneurship. Today, we are exploring a fascinating window into our bodies, how advanced technology can now measure glycation and make hidden tissue damage visible, helping us intercept chronic aging before it starts. John, welcome to the Plugged In podcast.
Thank you, Mark, and thanks for having me on your podcast. I'm very excited about it.
Me too. And I always, from the get-go, I think anybody that's in innovation, anybody that's created something that didn't exist, like I just love the ballsiness of entrepreneurship and innovation, don't you?
Yeah. Myself, like you said, I've decades of experience, and what I've always liked, and maybe that's a red cross through my career, is doing new stuff. You get very excited to learn new stuff, new things, dive into that, and trying to get that across the consumer, whatever it may be. And in this case, I've never been in healthcare or medtech before this role, but I mean, it's so fascinating. I always say I eat PubMed publications for breakfast. That's how I feel it.
Do you almost feel like, because I'm very much, I love to progress, I love to create, I love to innovate, I love to keep that journey going. Do you feel like it's an addiction for you?
Almost, yeah, almost. You could really say that. Certainly, I mean, before I started here, I had never heard of ages, to be quite honest, but once you start knowing more and more, you want to know everything about it. And that is sort of addictive indeed. Certainly, we'll talk about it in a second, but there are so many processes that age are associated and involved in. I mean, it's amazing. So in that respect, certainly it's addictive, yeah.
Now, we definitely live in an era where everyone is tracking their steps. I mean, I've got my Fitbit on, heart rate and sleep.
Yeah.
Yet you argue that we need entirely new health metrics to truly understand what's happening inside our bodies. What are maybe some of the current critical blind spots in our current health data, and why do you traditional metrics actually fall short when it comes to that long-term wellness?
Right. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right that today we can track more and more markers, especially with all of the wearables. Like you said, the watches are coming up, the bands and you know what. And also, if you look at the traditional markers that your GP will be measuring you with if you go there, like your fasting sugar, your HbA1c, your inflammation markers, all of those things are basically short-term markers. So, I mean, when you go to a GP, probably because you don't feel very well or you're a bit off, but if you have behaved quite okay for the last weeks or so. So your GP will take all of these measures and say, Mr. Mulder, nothing is wrong with you. I mean, everything is within the acceptable limits, go home and be relaxed. And still, it is that type of customer that goes to the alternative, the complementary circuit. So what we're missing is something that tracks long-term, let's say, long-term metabolic damage. I mean, it's not. I mean, if you eat a sweet, a bit of sugar today, nothing to worry. But it's all of those little habits combined over time and over years that do matter. And I guess there's no real good biomarker to track that effect.
Yeah.
And that's why I do believe we do need another marker. Yeah, still. Yeah.
Yeah. I know that your work focuses heavily on AGEs or advanced glycation end products. For listeners who maybe have never even heard of this term, what exactly are AGEs and how do they form in our bodies? And why should anyone invested in longevity care about them?
Right. Yeah. Well, to start off with, I cannot blame anyone of not having heard of AGEs in the first place. I mean, last year, October, with the company, we went to a trade show, a congress in London. That was about, I mean, the target group was diabetic nurses, hospital doctors, and so on. We did our demo with our devices. We measured almost 400 medical professionals. And always the first question was, have you ever heard of AGEs? And after those 2 days, only 2%, imagine, healthcare professionals, only 2% were aware of what AGEs are. Now, so it is, I mean, it's okay to not know it. But what are AGEs? AGEs is basically, the simple explanation is the end result of a chemical reaction between sugars and proteins. And yes, there's lots more, but let's keep it simple for now. So sugars and proteins react with each other. Just happens inside your body. We'll first focus on that part. They also are created when cooking, but so inside your body, excess sugars, the bloodstream will ultimately become those end products. So it's not like overnight, but it's a couple of steps. Now, once they become those end products, they will cross-link and accumulate in your tissue. Think, for example, the inside of your arteries, your collagen, your eyes, your heart tissue, brain tissue, kidneys, liver, cartilage, you name it. It will cross-link and accumulate there. And the effect of that is that tissue will become stiffer at first, and ultimately those AGEs will damage the tissue. So the organs that are attached to that tissue will lose their function. If you think of diabetes patients that are totally uncontrolled and ultimately have to have toes amputated, for example. I mean, that is the effect that AGEs can have on the body. So it's, bad news.
Yeah, exactly.
Bad news. Yeah.
Now, Diagnoptics has developed technology that can actually measure this invisible tissue damage that you're talking about.
Right. Yes.
Can you walk us through the science of how this technology works and how it detects things that standard like blood tests from our GPs doesn't actually pick up?
Yeah. Right. I always say that there's only one good characteristic of AGEs, and that is the fact that they are fluorescent. So like glow in the dark, you probably know that when you were a child, the light will go out in your bedroom and you still have those little stars on the ceiling. It is that property that we use. So very simply said, what we do, our devices shine a tiny bit of light through the skin on one particular part of the arm. And that is because we did some validation research in the past. What happens is that light in a certain wavelength will reach your collagen layer. In that collagen layer, AGEs are cross-linked and accumulated, and they will start to fluoresce. Now, that fluorescent signal travels back through the skin and is picked up by the sensors of the device. Now, the stronger that fluorescent signal, the more AGEs you have on that particular spot in your arm. And from other research, we know that the level of fluorescence measured on that particular spot is representative for your whole body, for your whole system. The higher that fluorescent signal, the more AGEs you have in your body, the higher the chance that you either already have something or will develop something in the near future. Now, what we cannot say is that, okay, you have a high age level, so you will develop diabetes or you will get a cardiovascular problem. So it's not a specific diagnostic tool, but it will add information to all of the other markers we already talked about. And we'll show you to how your body has dealt with all of these little habits over years and maybe even decades. So very simply put, it is the fluorescent signal that we measure. That is a very simple statement. My tech colleagues will say that is probably oversimplified, but just, yeah.
We live in a world where everything's always evolving, especially with AI, and technology as a whole. We've already transitioned from basic step counters to more sophisticated smartwatches, but measuring that tissue glycation that you talked about, that feels almost like a massive step forward. How do you see the consumer health tech landscape evolving from tracking these daily habits to tracking deep cellular biological aging?
Well, I guess, if you look around and read the newspaper, it cannot be any surprise that we're not getting any healthier. You mentioned it in the beginning, longevity. It's a huge trend worldwide, but basically what that means is that we want to age healthier. Okay, yes, because of all of these worldwide, on average, we become older, but we do not age healthier. Now, what the goal of longevity is that, let's say, to put it very bluntly, we die healthy, but that is not happening. So what I can see going on is that also end consumers, as well as the therapists, and ultimately also traditional medicine professionals, will go towards a sort of ecosystem whereby health tech and wearables are helping creating a sort of ecosystem. It will bring back ownership to consumers. And for example, if you combine metrics that are already in wearables and you add your age level, and we're not talking future here, we're talking today. Our technology is already integrated in the Samsung smartwatch from version 7 onwards. If you combine age level with your calendar age and your BMI, with a certain algorithm behind that, you will get a risk score for your diabetes. I think it will move into that direction, combining, using AI as well, lots of data from different markers, and see what are the associations between all of those shorter term markers and the long term markers, and then giving advice to consumers how to improve their health.
Yeah.
If you talk about ages in particular, it is very much centered around lifestyle. And lifestyle is much, much more than just eat healthy. It's about how you cook your food. It's about exercise. It's about inflammation. It's about chronic stress, all of those things combined. It's like communicating vessels.
Do you feel like it's individual enough? Because I have a hard time with BMI because, a bodybuilder would be determined obese based on the way that they use their measurements.
Exactly. Now, in the perspective of ages, what is in particular relevant is your visceral fat. So muscles are in fact a very good thing. Muscles also consume energy while you are sleeping, but fat is a bad thing. Fat creates or induces inflammation. Inflammation drives age formation and vice versa. So that is a vicious circle, so to speak.
Yeah, I do find it fascinating, John, because I love stats and I totally believe in prevention being better than cure. I know I have one body, so I run
Sure.
most mornings, right? And my opportunity really has always been with regards to food. I do eat well, but I also eat crap as well, and that's part of the reason why I run.
Right.
But I find it interesting because when I think of, say, somebody like my late grandmother, she was 96, and she ate what she wanted. She didn't exercise, and yet, she was 96. And I'm like, it's like...
How? Yeah. I think what happened over the last couple of decades or generations maybe is a couple of things. First of all, there's much more, we undergo much more stress in our daily lives. That's one. And we know, like I said, chronic stress will drive your age formation. So that's one. Second is our whole food system. If you go to the supermarket, estimates today are that 80% of what you can buy in a supermarket is unhealthy. Check out the food labels of the products you put in your cart in the supermarket. Much of those is ultra-processed food. Ultra-processed food impacts your gut microbiome. If your microbiome is adversely changed, it will again drive your age formation. So that and so our ancestors, they did not have the burgers and stuff. They ate whole foods. I think we need to go back to that principle. Eat whole foods and don't. That's not something else. Food between brackets is available in abundance at low prices, especially the crab.
Yeah.
And what we do, so after a tiring day at the office, you come home, you eat your dinner, and just after coffee at 8 o'clock, let's have a snack. And then an hour later, let's have a chocolate. And all
Sounds
of those
like
things.
You've got a webcam on me, John, there.
Yeah, all of these things. The advice would be eat whole food, eat no more than 3 meals a day, don't snack in between. And also, interesting fact that you say I'm running. My question would be, are you running every day? and at what pace and what length do you run?
Yeah, I run 5 times a week and I run about 2 miles. So I
All
committed
right.
to run at
Okay.
least a mile a day.
All right. Well, that's still okay. I mean, I've had so many people that say, well, I probably come out healthy using your device. So why? Well, because for example, I run the marathon 3 times a week and doing that for 5 years, But what we found from research is that you can exercise too much because too much exercise for too long and too frequently induces oxidative stress, induces inflammation. And again, that drives age formation. So too much exercise is not good. I mean, maybe that's a positive aspect of this conversation.
Of course, because I think rest and recovery is a part of
Absolutely.
performance.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Now, there's a huge psychological shift that happens when a person can actually see internal damage rather than just guessing. Have you
Yeah.
found that providing people with clear visual data about their tissue health is the missing link to getting them to actually change their daily habits and diet?
Absolutely. I mean, as I said, ages are associated with lifestyle in the broadest sense of the word. And that comes down to habits. And changing our habits is probably the most difficult thing for a human being to do. So seeing your age level and the story that comes with it and translating that age level into your biological age is sort of a wake-up call for many people. No one wants to be older than the calendar says you are. So having that on paper, in your screen, on your smartphone, is like, oops, this is no good. No, it's not. So that's why we work a lot with therapists, like the complementary and alternative medicine professionals, providing them with the age scanner and the accompanying app that goes with it. And it's like a long-term program to change their habits step by step. And yes, visualizing it, seeing it in your face, seeing the effects of long-term damage or the damage done by small habits. And like you said, one sweet, one cake once in a while doesn't do the harm, but do all of these small little habits for years, and then you'll see the effect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I feel a little challenged. I mean, it's one of those for me. I think for me, more about food. I don't drink that much alcohol. I don't
Right.
smoke,
Mhm.
but for me, sugar's always been the thing. And that roots from my childhood when I used to comfort eat when my parents went through divorce. And so that's something that I've always had to battle with. And, it's something that I've been very mindful of. My sugar has been high. I'm not someone who's like passive. They say that you can't run a poor diet.
Exactly.
It's one of those where I'm aware, but I also, I also don't want to be miserable. And my personality is very much all or nothing. I find it really hard. You know how people say, I'll just have a cube of chocolate. No, I'll eat the whole bar. Like it's gone.
Well, I mean, let's not be overly pretty. Well, exactly. But my advice would then be, I mean, if you accidentally ate the whole bowl of chocolate, go for a walk, stretch your legs. I mean, the simple thing, I mean, if you have a meeting, you have to sit all day. What already helps is just to wiggle your toes a little bit.
Yeah.
Put your heels up and down for a couple of times. That already helps to reduce your blood sugar. So simple things can already help. But it's
good. Now, John, we've only got a few moments left, but I'd love you to let people know how they can find out more about you and your business. And feel free to share anything else that you feel like we perhaps haven't captured, or maybe just something that just gives us all a contemplation to take away from this.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to know more about ages, take a look at the website, age-scanner.com, or you go to diagnoptics.com. There's lots of information about ages, certainly also about the science behind it. It's just not, I mean, ages it is science. That is something I would like to stress, although many people have never heard of ages. It is rooted in science. That's something I want to stress out. Yeah, I think it is a added tool. It gives you added information across. I'm not saying throw away all these short-term markers, but use them in conjunction and add additional information to the health status of your client. Especially, I think the age scanner, especially interesting for your complementary medical professionals, health coaches, dietitians, and professionals like those. So I mean, like I said in the beginning, I had never heard of ages. Once you dive into it, you wish you would have known sooner. And that's maybe my wish for all health professionals. Get into it.
Really good, John. Really fascinating. Really enjoyed that. Thank you for joining me on this episode of the Plugged In podcast.
Most welcome. Thanks again for having me.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for listening to me, Mark Sefton, host of Plugged In on the Smart Tech Daily podcast. We'd be delighted if you'd leave us a review on iTunes or Spotify, and we look forward to welcoming you back to the next episode of the Plugged In podcast.